okay, na? Yeah, it is running, na? 30 seconds ago, live. But for me, it's showing 40 seconds. Live 40 seconds. 72 people are already there. I can start now. Good evening, comrades. Good evening from All India Bank Employees Association. All of us are aware that the central trade unions, 10 major central trade unions, have given the call for a nationwide general strike all over the country. The Central Committee of the AIBEA also decided to join this strike. Originally, it was on the 20th of May, but due to the disturbing scenario after the Pahalgam attacks, the strike date was postponed and now it is on the 9th of July. Before going into the reason why this strike call and why we have to make it successful, we have been getting some questions from our comrades, ordinary branch level employees, that from United Forum you gave the call for 2-day strike in March end on our important demands like recruitment, then also on this 5-day banking. And suddenly last minute you postponed the strike. You did not go ahead. 5-day banking has not come. In the meantime, AIB has given another strike on some other issue. So why? On the main issue you are not fighting. On some other issue you are joining the strike. So this is number one question that we need to be understood and properly clarified. That strike is our own strike. AIBA took the initiative, then all unions joined. It became the United Forum struggle on some of the important issues. Number one was, of course, 5-day banking. And from AIBA, we highlighted the adequate recruitment of clerk and subordinate staff. In the meantime, the management were trying to unilaterally outsource in violation of the bipartisan settlement our permanent jobs. In between, two new developments took place in the industry. One is that we signed the PLI in the last bipartisan settlement. For the past 3-4 settlements, the IBEA have been asking that we want to have individual incentive for performance. If somebody is more productive, we want to give more incentive, more wage. We disagreed with the IBA. We said we don't agree with individual incentive. It will divide the employee. We want the collective bargaining, same uniform bipartite for all. It has been going on. And so in the last settlement, they came and understood that instead of individual incentive, if a bank is performing well, then all the employees, right from general manager to the part-time sweeper, all will get some performance-linked incentive. Originally, it was productivity-linked incentive for individuals, but later we agreed we can agree for performance-linked wages. That means if the bank is performing, they will give maximum 15 days. That came. Suddenly, now the government has interfered in the matter. This is a bilateral agreement that PLI will be given from 1 to 15 days according to the performance metrics of the bank. But now unilaterally from the government instruction has come. Earlier also MDs and EDs were getting separate incentive that we are not in the picture. They are giving, they can revise it. But they made it applicable to scale 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 also. And that said, it will be individual incentive, number one. Number two, as per our PLI scheme, maximum 15 days. Whereas in the government scheme, that goes up to 365 days. That means 25 times more than what has been agreed here. But not for all banks. The government will decide which bank is eligible, Government will decide which officer will be eligible. Even if all the officers, executives perform, even then 20% people will be straight away made not eligible. Like that is a highly discriminatory scheme. It is unilateral. Secondly, it is not as per the PLI scheme that we have agreed in the bipartite. So we have been opposing that. That became an issue. Secondly, already there is a provision. If some efficiency of any employee is not up to the mark, then management can take action. But now government has given instruction that every month the management should review the performance of the people who are completing 57, review their efficiency, and then take action and report to the government. So this is also interference in our matters. So like that, these issues came. On that, we gave this strike for 2 days, 24, 25 March. On that, 2 rounds of conciliation meetings were held. And on recruitment, there was a breakthrough. Earlier, they said that we cannot discuss anything. It is a bank level matter. But ultimately, the IBEA also agreed that banks are also agreeable for more and more recruitment in the banks. To begin with, for the current year, last year they made intent to IBPS around 6,000 people. They increased to 12,000. And from 25, 26 onwards, more and more recruitment will take place. We are ready to discuss with you. We'll also collect the particulars, what is the plan, manpower planning by the banks, like that. One breakthrough in recruitment of clerks. Second, on subordinate staff recruitment also, there is a virtual ban because the government told them that in other sector there is outsourcing. Why you want to have this staff at all? So you outsource. So this, they have been virtually, it is not official ban, but because of the government minutes, they have been not recruiting. Now in this conciliation meeting, they have agreed that subordinate staff recruitment also will take place. This is a second important breakthrough. Third one on outsourcing. Management has been quoting Supreme Court, management has been quoting Reserve Bank guideline, management has been telling government guidelines, so they have been wanting to outsource unilaterally, all that. Now that has been put on hold. Now CLC has told that IBEA should talk to the union. If whatever union will agree, if they agree, you can do, otherwise unilaterally you can't do. So this is the third positive development. Fourth, on the PLI, we said that you cannot implement it unilaterally. So now that is put on hold. Government scheme is put on hold. And so now the IBEA has agreed, or IBEA has been advised to discuss with the United Forum and submit a proposal. So this is one. Another one on this 57 years and above efficiency, this clause, that government has told now we will not insist. It's a routine thing. It is for the banks. So like that, some improvements have taken place. On the important issue of 5-day banking, earlier IBEA agreed because that's why they have signed the bipartite. Then once IBEA will agree, we can presume that government also was in favor. Otherwise, without finance ministry signal, IBA will not sign that. That's why by agreement has been signed. But they said we will get some favorable or whatever clearance from the government, then we'll implement. But the clearance has not come. We signed in 24 March. Now we are in 25 July. More than 1 year is over. Now we learned that the matter has gone to higher ups beyond the finance ministry. And so we were pressing upon the demand. Then in the discussion, they have said that the matter is under very serious consideration at the FM level. Chief Labour Commissioner also told that he will also take up the matter because the agreement has been signed. So we have said that we will discuss the matter. So that is why, because of this some developments, that United Forum strike was postponed. We are discussing. If there is going to be further delay, we are not satisfied, again we will revive this strike. So that is a separate one. This is entirely different. This is by the all central trade unions. There was a workers' convention in Delhi. Out of 11 central trade unions, 10 central trade unions, they organized this. AIBEA is also part of the convention. Our leaders also attended the convention. There they took in the background of the government continuously pursuing the same neoliberal policy. Neoliberal means economic policy, labor policy, agriculture policy, education policy, everything neoliberal. That means going back to the old system. And so this has been creating a lot of problem for the country, for the people, for the public sector, for the employees, for the workers. So that became a subject matter of discussion at the workers' convention. Number one is that the government is interested to pursue the economic policies. There must be economic policy in the country. But the policies that are being pursued by successive government and more aggravatedly by the present union government is pro-corporate, pro-rich people, more liberal to the capitalists and the employers. This all of us know. That is why even during Corona, the whole world was stuck up, India was stuck up, no manufacture, no production, nothing. But even during that 2-year Corona period, we found that the wealth of the capitalists has gone up in our country. Whereas the workers did not get any job, workers did not get a wage. Thanks to AIBEA, bipartite is there, so our wages were paid, our pension was paid. But many workers did not get anything, no production. Then without production, without no sales, no profit. But then how their wealth has gone up? So that means the government policy is totally benefiting them. Rich people are becoming more and more rich, and reports are repeatedly coming. Just 3% of the total population at the top bracket, rich people, they are able to today control 70% of the total wealth of the nation. Only 3% people control 70. Remaining 50, at the bottom, the bulk is at the bottom. 50% of the people, the poor people, ordinary people, middle class people like bank employees, we are left to only have the remaining thing. That means the poverty is increasing, the inequality is increasing. That is why we find the global hunger index, India is coming down. We are at the bottom. Government is claiming, I don't know, they are claiming we are the fastest growing economy. We have overtaken Japan. We are going to overtake this, that, like that. We want to overtake. It's good. But is it the fact? They are claiming. But at the same time, inequality is increasing. Poverty is increasing. Global hunger index is increasing. Happiness index also, we are at the bottom. In corruption perception index, we are at the bottom. So one side they are claiming. Secondly, they are claiming our GDP per capita is increasing. So that also we should be clear. It does not give us any happiness, because the GDP is a total gross domestic product. That means what is produced by me, what is enjoyed by me, and what is enjoyed by Ambani, Adani put together and divided by the people. So GDP per capita does not reflect the real wage of the poor people, the common workers. So it's a combined work and net result of the division by the total number of people. So that is very misleading. We find that the share of wage to the total cost is coming down and the share of profit is going up. So this is the result of the present government economic policy. We are opposed to that. Secondly, in AIBEA also, central trade unions also, we want to create more jobs because India is a very young country. Young people need jobs. But today, jobs are shrinking. In those days, in 50s and 60s, they said job-oriented growth, growth with jobs. Then in between it came, in the 80s and all, jobless growth. Now growth, they say it is there, but job is coming down. The people are losing jobs. So this is not job with growth. It is not jobless growth. It is job loss growth. So we want to create more jobs. For creating more jobs, the government has to invest in infrastructure, in small industry, medium industry. That is not happening. Only big industries are coming through FDI and other things and infrastructure. It is not creating jobs. So we want to create more jobs for our young people. That is why even in the banking industry, this is our prime demand, that young people should get more jobs. There are about 2 lakh vacancies in the banks. And that is why the demand for fed-up banking is very important, because workload is increasing. People are now getting fed up. They are getting tired. So that's why they clamor. At least Saturday, Sunday, give me leave. So we fully support it. But more jobs should be created. That is another demand. Third one is price is going up like anything. Now, last month, according to the consumer price index, the price have come down. But I don't know where the price, which commodity price has come down. Prices are continuously increasing. So when prices go up, the real wage is coming down. So that is why we have differences with the government economic policies. These policies are only helping the rich people, the big people, the corporate people, and does not benefit the ordinary people. So we want them to change the policy, and we want them to implement pro-people economic policies, which is enshrined in the constitution, which is enshrined already in our law, that any government policy, economic policy, should reduce the inequality, should bring the gap between rich and the poor. So on that, we have differences. So we want to protest. We have been protesting. They are not changing. They are continuously saying, having the same policy. So that is another one. Secondly, now we are finding the last 2 decades, we have been fighting. The working class has been, the trade union has been in the forefront to expose the negative impact of the government neoliberal economic policy. So trade unions are fighting. Workers are being inspired to fight. Now we find that farmers and agriculture workers, they have been fighting, and they could bring some pressure on the government to not implement the formulas. It has been withdrawn. So the government is finding that the main obstacle is the working class. The main hurdle is the trade union. They are not only fighting, they are also inspiring. We say inspiring, but according to government, instigation. That is why they are ridiculing the trade unions and the working class as Andolin Jivi. As though you have no job, you are only fighting. But our struggle is able to put some halt on the increasing new economic policies. On the other hand, it is resulting in some benefit for the working people. Thirdly, it is inspiring the other sections of the people to fight. So government is worried that trade unions are unnecessarily fighting and creating problem, and that is being now resulting in other people fighting, other sections. Secondly, in our country, we have to find, we are organized trade unions. All India Bank Employees Association, for 80 years we are existing like that. Organized trade unions are there, workers have been organized. But in the last 2-3 decades, you know that a bulk of the workers are unorganized. They are Ashangatik Mazdoor. They have no Sangatan. They have no trade union. And all these laws are not applicable at all. They are suffering like anything. They are exploited. More than 40-45 crores of people are workers in the unorganized segments. So naturally, they are also workers. We are happy because of the trade union, because we are governed by collective bargaining. In bank employees, we are having the bipartite system. But there is not even the tripartite. The government has not been holding the Indian Labour Conference, where they can hear the labor, they can hear the employers, and they can do something. No, completely it is forgotten. So employers' rampant exploitation is going on, particularly in the unorganized segments. So workers are losing job, workers' wages are coming down, prices is going up. On the other hand, unorganized workers are being endlessly, aggressively, cruelly, nakedly exploited. So these have become big issue. So when we say that we want to fight against all those things, now they feel we are able to fight because there is a labor law. Labor law in our country has come not because of the mercy of anybody. During the worker struggle for freedom, we should be very proud that working class has fought for Indian freedom. With all reverence, we agree that Mahatma Gandhi led the country's freedom struggle. That is why he is the father of the nation. But doesn't mean that workers did not fight. The people did not fight. People have sacrificed. The workers have sacrificed. That was the political objective of the trade unions at that time, that we have to free the country. We have to make the country free. We have to make the country independent. So they went on number of strikes on that. Alongside, they also fought for more and more labor rights. That is why in 1926 Indian Trade Union Act came. Then after that in this Industrial Dispute Act came, Factories Act, Payment of Wages Act, Maternity Benefit Act, Working Hours, Provident Fund, Minimum Wages Act. All types of labor laws, they are not 100% in our favor, but there are some check on the employers not to deny the basic rights, not to exploit the workers. So some important rights have been achieved by the trade union movement in our country. Now that has become an eyesore. Because of the labor rights, workers are organized. Because they are organized, they are conscious. Because they are conscious, they are fighting. Because they are fighting, we are not able to implement the new reforms, economic reforms. Because they are fighting, now Kisans are fighting. Because organized workers are fighting, because trade unions are fighting. The common people also get inspired. They also want to fight. So that means the discontentment is increasing. And the villain of the piece is the working class. The villain of the piece is the trade union. So to curb the trade union, right, this has become the new agenda now. Labor reforms. So we know that they have 4 codes now. Earlier we had about 40, 41 labor laws. Now they have been abridged into labor codes. One is wage code, then social security code, then industrial relations code, then occupational safety, health, and working condition. On the face of it, looks okay. That as though they have converted the entire old labor laws into labor codes. It is not so. Many important pro-worker legislations or provisions have been taken out, and more important pro-employer provisions have been added. So this is why we are now concerned. We are opposing this labor policy also. Already economic policy we are opposing. Privatization policy is another part of the government economic policy. All of us are very proud that in our country, at the time of the planned development, 1950s, 1960s, public sector became the main plank of the Indian development. Public sector in infrastructure, in growth, for country development, public sector became the main engine. So in all this basic sector, prime sector, public sector has done a wonderful job. But today now the government says, no, we don't want to public sector, we want to sell, we want to privatize, we want to disinvest, we want to monetize. Because now openly the government is telling, public sector जन्म होता है, लेकिन मरने के लिए होता है. ऐसा है क्या? Is it that public sector is born to die? Public sector is the savior of the economy. Public sector is giving stability to the economy. Public sector is giving more and more jobs. Public sector is developing self-reliance. Public sector is helping for Indian broad-based growth and development, including infrastructure. But now suddenly they say public sector is useless, private sector. But we know the efficiency of public sector. Bank employees, we need not tell all, we know. Why AIBEA demanded nationalization? Because private banks collapsed. Even today, that is the condition. Few years ago, Yes Bank, they were glorifying that Yes Bank. What happened to that Yes Bank? One day, Reserve Bank had to clamp moratorium. That means the bank is closed. Somehow, LIC, State Bank, they have come, put some capital, a new management. Now it is alive. Lakshmi Vilas Bank from South, another private bank, very old private bank, gone. So even today, private sector banks are not in good condition. So it is not proper to say public sector is good, public sector is not good, private sector is efficient. In general, in banking also. That is why we are again and again opposing privatization of banks, because the banks are handling huge money. Today, only public sector banks. We are having the people's money, savings of the people, 140 lakh crore. 110 lakh crore has been given as advances. That means the total business of the public sector bank is 250 lakh crore. Whereas even last year government budget is only around 47 lakh crore. That means 5-6 times of the government budget banks are handling. So public sector banks are very important. In fact, it is our demand, all the private sector banks also should be nationalized, because scams are coming. I don't want to tell the name. Many private banks, all they are in the picture again and again. So not only bank, now insurance. They want to bring in the ensuing parliament session 100% FDI in the insurance sector. Why foreign direct investment will come? LIC is a monumental institution. It has caught the imagination of the people. It is providing security for the people. It is doing very good. Similarly, public sector, general insurance companies are doing well. So you want to allow in the name of competition, now 100% FDI. So financial sector will be captured by private and foreign capital. Manufacturing sector will be captured by them. Public sector will be dismantled. Already we have seen. In telecom, we have seen in many core sectors, we have seen harbor, airport, everywhere, private. So that we are fighting because that is not creating job and that is not giving guarantee for the country's sustainable growth. That is very important. Today, growth will be there, but only public sector can guarantee sustainable growth. So all these things we are already opposing. Now, additional is this labor laws. See, labor law is very important. See, we are bank employees. Thanks to All India Bank Employees Association, thanks to our leaders, Prabhakar, Parvana, Tarike Chakravarti, Chadda, Mandal, Comrade Sampath, you name the leaders, they fought and established a very strong AIBEA. So today we have collective bargaining right. We have the bipartite system. But from bipartite, many places, at least tripartism is there. But now even government says, I will not interfere. That means it will be unilateral. The employer will fix a salary. This is the old policy prior to trade union, they came into existence. So all these things are very, very important. And now, what is the labor law? People are thinking, already some laws are there, they are being converted into labor code. It's not so. First point is the definition of a workman. Today, we are signing our settlement, you can find in bipartite, workman employee, because we are governed by the Industrial Dispute Act. Now, who is a workman? Who is a worker? The definition is going to be changed. Already, you see, in hospital, people are working. In many other sectors, they are working. We are the ASHA workers. We are the Anganwadi workers. Now, in the new labor code, they say all these people will be excluded from the definition of a worker. That means whatever labor law is there, it will not apply to them. So this is number one, collective bargaining will go, bipartisan will go, tripartisan will go, unilateralism will come. This is one danger. Second, the definition of worker. Bank employees are thinking nothing will happen to me because we are governed by the Industrial Dispute Act. Now, if that is changed, definition of worker is changed. If somebody can be removed tomorrow, we can also be removed. So these are all fundamental things that we are finding. Secondly, only about 10% of the workers are organized workers. So we have trade union, we have rights, we fight, we go on strike and get some benefits like bank employees bipartite. But 90% of the workers are unorganized. About 45 crores of people are unorganized. They are not organized into trade union. So all these laws are not implemented at all for them. So there is no minimum wage. There is no payment of wage. There is no proper social security. There is no proper health security. There is no permanent job. Now here we have to understand that what is the main guarantee for a bank employee today? Our job is a permanent job. Once you are appointed, then you are continued as a permanent employee. Now the government policy is changing under the labor law. They say fixed term employment. Not regular employment, not permanent employment, fixed term employment, contract employment, outsource employment. This, all of us know, there is no need to elaborate or exaggerate. What is the condition of the outsource employees? Today morning, many of you would have seen in the newspapers, in the recent some court case in Gujarat, there some issue has gone to the High Court. That means the government is outsourcing some jobs, these class 4 jobs, and it is given to a contractor. So the contractor is charging 23,000 rupees per employee from the employer, from the government, but is giving only 12,000 rupees to the contract employee. That means 11,000 rupees per one contract employee is going to the contractor. So they say we want to save money, but more money is given to the private contractors. That means permanent job will go, temporary jobs will increase, contract job will increase, and contract employees have no guarantee. Even in banking industry, that is why AIBA, we are now concerned and we are given a call. Organize the contract employees. Not that we want contract system. We want permanent, but they are there. In many of the banks, particularly in the new generation private bank, lot of these contract employees are there. Even in nationalized bank, some security, some housekeeping, like that here and there we are finding. So we have to, organize them, then take up their matter, and they should be made permanent employees. Similarly, now new model has come in the banking industry. What is the main job in the bank? Receiving cash and paying cash. Now that is given to what you call bank mitras, business correspondent. They are doing the same job, but they are not regular employees. In the government banks alone, there are about 2 lakhs of bank mitras. In the entire banking industry, including the new generation private banks, there are about 25 lakhs bank mitras. Very alarming. In government bank also 2 lakh people are working. They have no union. They have no minimum wage. They have no bipartite. They have no maternity benefit. They have no leave benefit. They have no LFC. They have no DA. Nothing, no protection. So in banking industry also some unorganized segment is there. In the entire country it is there. So it is our duty, the duty of the organized workers to voice the problems and grievance of the unorganized workers. So that's why in this strike that is also very important. We say stop all these things, create more jobs. Otherwise, what is the future for the young people, young workers, if they are going to be governed by fixed term employment or the government's Agnipath, Agniveer, etc.? It is a common policy now. So we are opposed to that. We want to create more jobs, but they are only creating fixed term jobs, not regular jobs. So this is one thing. Similarly, we are finding labor laws are very important. Now they want to make changes. If the change is in my favor, it's very important. Labor laws are important to me, but many of us sometimes we don't understand that after India's independence in 1947, so far only one new labor law has come. That is Gratuity Act 1972. All other labor laws were brought before independence. The trade union working class fought, and those during British time they came. Amendments have come, but no new law has come except Gratuity Act. Now all the labor laws are going to be weakened because according to government, it is in favor of the workers. For example, May Day. What is the slogan on May Day? 8-hour working. Globally, universally, whole world workers are shouting, we want 8-hour working. For that only in Chicago, people fought. And India also, that's the demand. And now, just like the employees are talking, 9 hours, 10 hours. Very recently in Andhra Pradesh, we came in the newspaper item that government has increased the working hours in the factories to 10 hours. So 8 became 9, 9 must become 10. Now recently, very funny people, this Infosys Narayana Murthy, he says, no, our country is important, it has to grow, it has to develop, so people should work for 70 hours per week. Bank employees, we are working for 36.5 hours per week. That means Narayana Murthy says you have to double 70. Beyond that now, Larsen Tubro, Subramaniam, he says that workers should work for 90 hours per week, including on Sunday. What you will do on Sunday at home, you come to the factory and work. How long you will stare at your wife? Very insulting statement he made. Again women, again men. And he says, including Sunday, you work 90 hours. That means more than 12 hours. 90 divided by 7. It is more than 12 and a half hours. So if your worker has to work for more than 12 hours a day, when he will eat, when he will sleep, when he will take rest, when he will take care of the family, when he will take care of the children, what about his social responsibility? So this is very cruel, inhuman, atrocious. Simply just like that, they say we want to increase the working hours. Because this is the condition of the employer, that you want me to invest in production, then you give me freedom, flexibility. And government is also talking ease of doing business. Ease of doing business for whom? For the employer, for the capitalist, for the factory owner, for the malik. That will become easy for them. It will become difficult for us because we are bank employees. We know debit and credit. So if employer will be given something easy, it will become difficult for us. Already workers are burdened. Workers are suffering. Their level of wage in the total economy is coming down. Their share in the wealth is coming down. They are subject to all types of harassment and problems. And so something should be done in their favor. On the other hand, the scale is now sort to be tilted in favor of the employers. That is why their wealth is going up. Indian rich people, we have seen those days, some few rich people. But today, billionaires and billionaires, they are more wealthier than even European billionaires. From where they got, globally, their names are coming. In the world rich people list, Indian capitalist names are coming. Whereas at the same time, it's a very sad thing. The largest number of poor people in the world are from India. They are our own brothers and sisters. What is their sin? The constitution says all of us are equal. But somebody is very rich and some people, they are becoming more and more poor. Earlier, when they said we want to introduce this new economic policy, they were telling trickle-down theory. So the rich man will become more rich, so he will give something, it will trickle down. Now from 1990, we have seen 35 years are over, no trickle down. Poverty is increasing. In the last decade, 17% poverty has gone up. We are finding that joblessness is increasing. Unprecedented unemployment. Unemployment is rampant. People are not getting job. Highly educated, our young brothers and sisters, what type of job they are getting? They are highly qualified. Even highly qualified people are coming to the bank as a housekeeper, as ordinary clerical employees. That means unemployment. Outside even that is not available. Everywhere only contract jobs, unsafe job, unhealthy jobs. So all these things are worrying the trade unions. They are worrying the working class. Because the working class is the wealth producer. If working class is taken care, the country will progress. They say our country is in Amrit Kal. We are progressing, we are developing, we are the fastest growing economy. Okay, how can it happen? If the workers are taken care, if the people are taken care, then we can talk of prosperity. And then there will be growth, but it will be cornered by a small section of the people. That is why we are worried. It is not that we have no other job. We only want to go and fight, strike. We know strike means one day wage. If we go on strike on 9th of July, workers will lose one day wage. We know that. But because we have to protest against the government policy, there is no other way. They are not listening to the trade unions. They are not convening labor conference. They are not having any consultative meeting. They are listening to the employers and capitalists and corporates and changing the law in their favor. So the labor reform has become very, very important. And now they want to change everything. Today there is a regulation. If a factory is going to be closed, if the factory owner wants to retrench some people, then he has to take the government permission. If the factory owner wants some exemption, then they have to take permission from the government. Today, now ease of doing business. Bulk of the factories will be outside the Factories Act. Today there is a provision. If 100 workers are there, then the Factory Act will apply. If Factory Act will apply, then Payment of Wages Act is applicable, minimum wage is applicable, working hours are applicable, canteen facility is applicable, first aid is applicable, PF is applicable, gratuity is applicable, then ESI, then maternity benefit, first aid, all canteen, these are all mandatory. And the employer, the factory owner cannot close a factory just like that. But today, what is the change they want? From 100, they want to make it 300. That means if a factory is having 300 workers, they need not consult anybody. Anytime they can close a factory. Anybody they can dismiss. Anybody they can retrench. Anybody they can lay off. Any factory they can do anything. If they don't pay salary, if they don't pay wage to the worker, nobody can complain to anybody. If they don't give leave, maternity leave to the women worker, they cannot complain. So what type of civil society will be built up if the worker who is producing wealth is not cared for? So these labor law changes are not in our favor at all. The wage code is important, but it must guarantee minimum wage. Now all the central trade unions are asking minimum 26,000 rupees as minimum wage. But we are finding today, we have seen in the paper that 12,000 rupees is being paid in some Gujarat department. It is not only Gujarat, throughout the country it is so. Social security. Now, what do you mean by social security? That worker security, social life should be taken care. After retirement, you should have pension to live happily. Now, only Provident Fund is not able to take care. So, we want pension. But the government has introduced the new pension scheme. That means I have to contribute, employer will contribute, then that money will be invested. And how much money will come, there is no guarantee. In the old pension scheme, there is a guarantee how much I will get. Now, lakhs and lakhs of workers are in the new pension scheme. Even in the banking industry, out of about 8-9 lakhs of bank employees and officers, about 6 lakhs people are employees who are not governed by the old pension scheme. So, what is their future? They have another 20-30 years to go in the bank, and there is no guarantee for the future. How they will be taken care? So, it is not only banking, everywhere. So we are demanding pension must be given for all workers in this country, because whole life they are working for the employer. After retirement, there must be something to look back. So similarly, industrial relations code, that should be in favor of the worker. If there is a dispute, now we have the Industrial Dispute Act, we can go to the labor machinery, we can go to the conciliation, we can go to the tribunal, we can go to court. Now if these laws are weakened, then where the worker will go, where the trade union will go? Similarly, Indian Trade Union Act 1926 is very important. It gives the right to the workers to organize trade union, because trade union is a protection. Trade union is a weapon and safety for the workers. Now, the Trade Union Act amendments are coming. Number one, that today, if we want to start a union, we can meet in a place, we can pass a resolution and submit to the registrar for registration of the union. Now the new law says, new labor code says that employer permission. Why employer will give a permission? I have seen in my own place in Tamil Nadu, Samsung factory workers, they started a union. So what is the name of the union? Samsung Factory Employees Union. Naturally, that will be the name. But Samsung factory owner says, no, Samsung is my name. Don't use the name. Then what I will keep? In Samsung factory, shall I say Apple Factory Workers Union? So registration is not done. Government did not do. Workers had to go on strike for 1 month to get a registration. Whereas forming a union is my right, today it is becoming at the mercy of the government and the employer. So that means difficulty in forming a union. Today, everywhere, in most of the industry, we have in-house leaders. The employees and the workers of the same factory or the establishment become leaders, like in banking industry. Whereas it will not be the same, outsiders will have to be employed as office bearers and leaders. Now they were restricting. That means it will be very difficult to organize the unorganized workers. And today, going on strike is my right. Banking industry, we know by going on strike only we are achieving our demands, either bipartite or any other thing, we have the right to strike. Now, in future, after the new labor codes will come, going on strike will be difficult because you have to go through ballot sanction. For example, bank employees, we have 8-9 lakhs of employees in the United Forum. Now, United Forum, when we decide, we give a call for strike, give the notice, go on strike. Now, under the new proposed labor changes, the United Forum has to inform the government. Government throughout the country, there are more than 150,000 branches. So government department official, labor department official will visit all the branches. They'll take a ballot. Do you agree with the United Forum strike call? Do you not agree? And then they will bring it to Delhi. They'll count the ballots and then they will say. So when they will visit, when they will take the ballot, when we will get the permission, by the time the damage will be done, issue will be over. That means starting a union, running a union, going on strike will be difficult. Then what for workers? It is only by fight and fight, by struggle only we are able to bring pressure on the employer and the government to get something. It is not that we are in honeymoon. We are just able to survive. The workers are able to survive. Today, as citizens, already more and more burden. The entire tax system is in favor of the employers. More tax concession, and here for the bottom, more tax burden. So my wage is coming down, my tax burden is going up. I am not able to survive. That's why more and more sections are becoming vulnerable. More and more workers are becoming marginalized. So this is the very unfortunate development that is taking place. So neither the economic policy nor the labor policy, it is not in our favor. So we have to fight. Now we are finding there is a crisis in agriculture sector. They want to bring in land reforms. That means that whatever land is there, that should be captured by the Maliks. And because they will have big storage and they will purchase the produce from the farmers at very cheap rate and hold it and sell it at a high price, make a profit. Whereas the person who is producing, the kisan, the farmer, you should get a remunerative price. The great economist, agriculture economy, M.S. Swaminathan, his formula is widely known. Kisans are demanding that, agriculture people are demanding that only. Implement Swaminathan committee report formula. Give me a remunerative price. So they are being deprived. Now we are very happy that workers, trade unions, and Kisan farmers organization, we are moving together. Number one, all 10 central trade unions are moving together. Only BMS is not there. I saw their statement. They say we are not opposed to strike. We will not oppose it. We are not welcoming. That means they also know that workers are in difficulty. Workers in distress because their government, whatever pressure, etc., they may not be able to join. But I know in all their assessment, BMS is also telling that government policy is not helping the poor people. So naturally, entire trade unions are together. No, Kisans and factory work, these farmers, agriculture workers, they are joining. India, we are known for division, fragmentation of workers. Today, why we are together? That means there is a crisis. So unless we are united, unless we fight together, we cannot manage this complicated offensive against the working class, against the people, against the Kisans. That's why this is a very, very important patriotic struggle. Some people are telling it's a political strike. If demanding minimum wage is politics, I can't help it. If demanding restricted working hours, if it is politics, I can't help it. These are the demand. Give me minimum wage. Give me restricted working hours. Give me remunerative price for my produce. The denial of the same is politics. So demanding is also politics. So trade union, we want to be away from political parties because they tend to divide the people. But today, trade union, we are together on a common cause, on the cause of the workers and the people. Because the workers only can lead the entire people for a change, for a social change, for an economic change, for a political change. Workers are conscious. They are leading contingent in the entire society. So we have a responsibility, and particularly the organized trade union movement has a larger responsibility of taking care of the entire unorganized segment also, which is very huge. So every worker has to understand the patriotic responsibility and role, and we have to continue our struggle. It is not that because the present government, we don't like it. It's not like that. We have been fighting all successive government. Earlier, Manmohan Singh government also we have fought. UPA government we have fought. Now, India government we are fighting. So we are not under party politics. If the present government will bring in minimum wage, we will welcome it. If the government will say, I will not privatize public sector bank, we will welcome it. If the government will do something good for the people, we will welcome it. We have no problem. But all their policies are ease of doing business. And that is resulting in aggravation of the poverty and accumulation of wealth in the hands of the few people. That is not good for a big democratic country in our country. All of us know democracy means it should benefit the majority. But whether these new economic policies will benefit the majority of the people, whether the labor reform will benefit the majority of workers. So that's why we are questioning. If questioning is not liked by them, what can we do? This is only questioning them. It is only protesting. This is not to capture the power. It is not by 9th July strike that trade union will become the government. It is not so. It's a defensive struggle that we say, don't do this. You do this. You have progressive policy, pro-people policy, pro-worker policy, pro-public sector policy. And today we are having new sections of people are coming in this strike. From IT sector, from unorganized sector, more and more people, officers. In banking industry, AIBEA has given a call, AIBOA has given a call, BEFI has given a call. I am very thankful. All India Bank Officers Confederation, IBOC, they have issued a very good circular that they are in support of the strike and officers will not do any non-officer work, non-supervisory work. Similarly, NCB also that day in the meeting, they said they will support the strike. Already INBOC, all have issued their circular supporting the strike. So this 9th July strike is very, very important. It is not an ordinary strike just for some immediate demand. It's a persuasion of the entire working class in this country to defend themselves, to defend their rights, and to oppose what is happening, which is wrong. The present government policy, labor policy, economic policy is wrong. It is not in our favor. So it is our duty to ventilate our protest. It is duty to ventilate our anger. It is our duty to protest against that. That is the 9th July strike. And that is why the strike is very significant, very important. Particularly, we are worried about young people. In the banking industry, more and more young people are coming. So their future is important. So banking industry should be in public sector. Banking industry should develop. Banking industry should progress. This time we have seen this year, government is claiming there is extraordinary profit, historic profit, yes. But simultaneously, can we forget how much money is going towards this provision for bad loans, write-off, haircuts? The haircut is benefiting only the corporate people, not the poor people. Whereas service charges are increasing, interest rate is coming down. In savings account, today we find it down 2%, 2.5%. Inflation is 6%, 7%. Interest is 2%, 3%, 5%. That means whatever money we save today, even by inflation, that money will come down. So there are real issues. In the banking industry, in the country, there are issues for the workers and the people. And it is high time that we become more united. More and more sections of the workers should be united in the trade union. More and more people should be organized. Government may say that the strike is destructive, loss of man hours. But same government statistical information says in India, the number of man hours lost due to strike is less, but the number of man hours lost due to closure, retrenchment, layoff is more. So layoff means retrenchment means employer strike. 9 July is our worker strike. So worker strike is less. Management employer strike is more. But there they are not questioning and they are questioning us. So we have to understand the agenda of the government in suppressing labor rights, in weakening public sector, in pursuing pro-corporate economic policies. And naturally, as citizens of this country, as workers of this country, as employees working in a very pivotal public sector banking industry in our country, we have a role, and particularly we should be very proud. They belong to the All India Bank Employees Association. Our demands are there. I know most of the people are talking about 5-day banking. But if more recruitment will come, automatically people's pressure in the branches. Now attacks are coming. Yesterday we have seen in one bank, somebody has come and stabbed a lady officer. So these are all the issues. 5-day banking is our issue. We have decided. Only some 10 days ago, we had a United Forum meeting. If the government is going to further delay, again strike will come. But there are other issues also. So bank employees should understand. And we must also make all the bank employees because they are aware, they are intelligent. Present generation of bank employees are highly qualified, highly intelligent, but we have to tell them. Otherwise, they will think unions are fighting for some mechanical rhetoric strike. It is not connected with us. But this strike is so significant, it must be explained to everybody. And in the days to come, if the same policy will continue, more and more struggle will come. And in that, we have to play our role, because the working class is the main god of the whole national, economic, political, social development. They are the people who can really, they are conscious, they can lead from the front. So trade unions have a role, work has our role, and I appeal to all bank employees, our All India Bank Employees Association, that is our appeal, fervent appeal, that we should become more and more united to make this strike a grand success. Our other demands will continue, but this is on a broader issue, and I'm very sure that given the history of the All India Bank Employees Association, our cadres, our members, our unions all over the country will once again prove that once again 9th July strike will be a marvelous, wonderful, successful strike action. I appeal to you. I request all of you to make this strike a grand success. Thank you very much.